Hello everyone, welcome. Today we are back in Enthusia with our beautiful Jaguar XJR. Really nice. Got a supercharged 4-liter V8 engine. And it is, granted you can see that down at the bottom, but it is a very nice car. Sub 6 second 0 to 60. Already off to a great start. Let's enter our first race so I can actually shut myself up. Let's do the under 4,000 race. Under 4-liter race. We are just right on the cusp of not being able to enter that race. Thankfully we can. Got a Nissan Z and then 2 NSXs as well. So this will be a little bit tricky. The NSXs are very fast on the curves. This should be fun. This should be very fun. Alright, let's roll. I got the T-Bird in front of us. T-Bird is not going quite that fast. T-Bird also has, because during this time period, the Ford-owned Jaguar, the T-Bird also has the Jaguar derived V8 as well. So sort of sister vehicles in a way, both luxurious vehicles powered by a Jaguar developed V8 motor. Into the tight hairpin left-hander here. There we go. Let's make sure we keep this lead. We got a good start. Let's make sure we can keep that. No mistakes. Start off the race very strong. Jaguar. It's got the custom, well not necessarily custom, but the really unique Jaguar independent rear suspension as well. After this race, I have to actually show that. I did a little bit more research on the Jaguar independent rear suspensions past couple weeks, just because well the previous Jaguar we were also driving, and now with this week we're also driving the Jaguar. So with that, I do want to kind of showcase the importance and the uniqueness of the independent rear suspension. It's got inboard. Okay, not this one, but the older ones had inboard rear brake rotors as well to help further reduce unsprung mass, which allowed for even smoother ride quality. This one has brakes further towards the outside at the wheel hubs again, more like a more conventional vehicle, but it still has the unique Jaguar double independent rear suspension with the double shock absorbers in each wheel. Very nice. Make sure we get that place back though from the NSX. The NSX is quite lighter than us, being a 2-door mid-engine sports car. We are much heavier 4-door high-powered saloon or sedan. But so we will be able to go quite quickly on the straights. But the corners we will be at a bit of a disadvantage, especially because the car still has a little bit of understeer to it. As I'm finding in the higher speed corners, not quite really turning in the high speed corners. A little bit on the steer. Gotta lift off the, oh gosh. Yeah, we definitely took that way too fast. Okay. Great. Now let's see if we can't get that place back from the NSX. The AI likes to kind of hold off quite a bit on high commitment corners, so a lot of like the bus stop chicanes and banked corners like this, they go much slower than they really could. And this makes for much easier races at tracks like Low and Searing, as well as other tracks with lots of a large amount of high commitment corners like Marco Strada. That chicane there, the gut chicane as I like to call it, it really kind of cheats. Not say it's cheatsy per se, but it really kind of tests your ability to really kind of carry your car as straight as possible through there and just kind of fling it through a chicane. Because it can be taken not quite flat out, but much faster than a lot of people think. especially if you use a more aggressive approach with the curbs. If you have a vehicle that can handle a lot of curbing, sort of a more larger wagon or sedan type vehicle, and even an SUV, where they don't get upset with bumps nearly as much as, you know, a lighter weight sports car would. You can really use that to your advantage and carry a lot of speed through that corner and beat a lot of lighter vehicles through there. Alright, we got... Is this the other NSX? This is the other NSX right behind us. Oh, they stuck the nose on the inside. Oh, that's a little bit of a dive bomb there, but I'll let that happen. Let's make sure we get that place back, though. 100%. Come on. Going to the tail of the lion now. And try to get some of that place back through the backwards Radeon. It's like the corner complex at Spa, the really famous one. But it's been mirrored. So instead of left, right, left, as you go up the hill, it's right, left, right as you go up the hill. But it's more or less pretty much the same corner. At the very least, you can see where they got their inspiration from. This car does not like high-speed cornering though. Maybe they do some adjustments. Low speed, it's fine. High speed, it's a little bit understeery. So I may need just a little bit, maybe a little bit of rake, I think. Lower the front just a tad. So it's not bad. Third place, that's decent. Should be enough to get us a nice level up as well for improved performance. And with any luck, we'll be able to win the Fairlady Z, the Nissan Z here. Yes, beautiful. Alrighty. Alright, decent amount of points. Good, it is enough to level us up. Great, 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 great. That's gonna be a big hit for the ranking though. Yeah, kind of figured. That's gonna be a little bit unfortunate. All right, let's adjust some settings. A little bit of extra rake. Stiffen the rears, just a tad. There we go. A little bit better. Give ourselves just a little bit more cornering prowess. Hello. Midnight Racer, good to see you. Hope you're doing well today. Right now we are driving the beautiful Jaguar XJR. I actually want to show something. Give me a second to pull that up. I wanted to show the Jaguar independent rear suspension. Alright, let us display capture. Boom. Yes. Okay. So the independent rear suspension, okay? So you can see my mouse and everything. So basically with this, it has, it's basically sort of a modular, needs to high stakes aesthetic. Cool, good to see that. But yeah, the Jaguar independent rear suspension, it uses a twin shock design on each side. And it basically, the way it's designed, with the trailing arm kind of being on like a swing arm, and having a joint here on the inside, close to the differential, each side of the suspension is able to move independently from the other. And what that does is that allows for much better traction and better ride quality over rougher terrains. In addition, you'll see that actually the brake rotors are on the inside, close to the rear differential. And on one hand, it does allow for a couple of really big benefits. The first one is that you have less unsprung mass, which means the wheels, the wheel hub assemblies and everything like that, that is going to be much lighter because you don't have brake components on there. So that's going to allow for a smoother ride, better ride quality. In addition, it's going to allow for better handling as well because you want to you definitely want to reduce your unsprung mass, especially in comparison to your sprung mass. And that is the key big thing right there. In addition, the brakes sort of directly interface with the chassis as opposed to trying to brake through an axle assembly. The brakes sort of brake directly at the differential and through the chassis and everything like that. So the braking is slightly improved there. There is some downsides though. The first one is maintenance. Maintenance on this, because I had a friend in high school who had a Jaguar with an independent rear suspension that he was always working on. Doing maintenance on these things is very difficult. To replace the brake rotor, it is a multiple hour job because you gotta take out the entire axle, an axle assembly, and gotta remove all of this to get the braking components out, which is a bit frustrating. The other big issue with this though, is that the heat from the brakes during heavy braking would actually cause a deterioration in the rubber seals at the rear differential, which would cause more oil and oil or differential fluid leaks. It's found a mileage as a Titan and Phantom to the PC version high stakes. Oh, cool, nice. Nice. So eventually, the second generation of independent rear suspensions did eventually move the braking system back to at the wheel hubs, but they still kept the unique independent rear suspension system. Now, one thing that the Jaguar IRS has used quite a bit on though is on hot rods. You can see it here on the back of this Ford T-Bucket. And basically it's because, one, it's fairly readily available despite its, luxurious origins. And also it's a very modular system, which allows different components to be swapped out and allows for better compatibility and allows it to kind of be bolted up directly into a body-on-frame chassis really easily. And it's nice. I also managed to mod the Mercedes and Ferrari cars to be used in the hot pursuit mode. Cool. Nice. I need to get into mods. I need to get into mods more often. I've been mainly playing like the base games and everything like that. But yeah, I need to get into modding as well. Especially because I've been seeing some of the modding for some of the Need for Speed games. I definitely want to try that. All right, let's see. The Nürburgring challenge. Oh, I am doing dumb. My apologies, I did a big dumb there. Nürburgring challenge. Sure, let's do it. We won't be able to win any. I also have a question. What is your spiciest Need for Speed hot take? Ooh. Spiciest Need for Speed hot take. Okay. As good. Alright, I'll hear yours first. I think I've got one set up. Need for Speed underwhelming. Oh, you don't like Underground too? Oh, okay. Granted, there are some things that are really good with Underground 2, and there's some things that are really bad. I will admit that sometimes the game does drag on, especially in the last chapter. The game drags on way too long. But the map itself is really good for driving. It was one of the first open world maps. It's not a bad thing if it doesn't give the price it gets. I mean, for the time, and a lot of people kind of have a bit of nostalgia for it, but some of the praise is warranted. The sheer amount of events that they did add, though, Like they took Underground 1, the proof of concept, and they basically made everything bigger and better, I think. And while Underground 1 has better replayability, due to the fact that it's a sort of a shorter playthrough time, and also there isn't, you know, like a massive amount of like, I don't want to say grinding, but like the story kind of flows a lot better in Underground 1. Underground 2 is still really, really good in terms of the driving aspect, but it does have some pacing issues. The biggest issue is the pacing issues. But yeah, I can definitely understand why some people, especially after like the hype and everything from it, why some people wouldn't necessarily like it as much. I can definitely understand that opinion. For me, my biggest Need for Speed hot take is as much as I enjoyed Hot Pursuit 2010, I think it ultimately was very, very detrimental to the franchise from basically two things. One, it introduced Break the Drift, and that kind of became a Criterion and then Ghost game staple for almost a decade, which really made a lot of the games not all that fun, because Break the Drift only really kind of works in a lot of flowing corners and more so in closed tracks as well, because let's be honest, Burnout Paradise is definitely one of the weaker of the later Burnout games. Like, it's definitely weaker than both Revenge and Burnout 3. Because with Burnout Revenge and Burnout 3, the tracks are specifically designed for, you know, utilizing that handling model. And I think with that, you can kind of ignore some of the slappiness inherently with Break the Drift. But with the open world games like Paradise, like Hot Pursuit, not Hot Pursuit, Most Wanted 2012, Break the Drift just doesn't work because you want to be fully in control of your vehicle, and Break the Drift takes that control away. So what the game thinks you're trying to do with your car is not always what you are actually trying to do with your car. And it makes it very frustrating at times, especially through some of the speed challenges in Hot Pursuit 2012, where you needed to keep a certain average speed throughout a course with randomized traffic and everything. That's not to say that Criterion are bad developers, or that 2010 is a bad game, but it's just Break the Drift does not belong in a Need for Speed game. Which that in itself is not a hot take, but the fact that Hot Pursuit 2010 ultimately kind of damaged the franchise quite a bit and put the franchise on the wrong tracks with regards to handling model for a very, very long time. Definitely probably is a hot take. But yeah, that's probably one of the bigger hot takes I have. The other hot take I'll have is that Pro Street is actually a really, really good game. I think a lot of people, when they first got it, they put it on the lower difficulty, which adds in all the assists and everything, like the auto braking and all that stuff, which makes the game kind of feel a bit bland, a bit lifeless. But when you put it to its maximum difficulty, when you are fully in control of those cars, oh my gosh, it is actually so much fun. Especially when you just the tuning all dialed right and everything, and your car just grips in the corners. It is actually a really, really fun experience. Actually, this one isn't that hot anymore. Really? That used to be a hot take. That used to be a big hot take where everyone was like, "Oh my gosh, Pro Street is when the franchise went downhill." I'm like, no, I enjoyed Pro Street. Pro Street was like basically like, you know, track day type street racing and everything, which was really, really cool. It took it into a really unique perspective. The fandom loves Pro Street now. Okay. Jeez, in a couple years, I'm gonna be clamoring that Undercover was a good game, though. I guess it's just who's currently in the most active on the media forums and everything like that, the age groups, and who was like when that was like their first, the first Need for Speed game, or like, the most played Need for Speed game or whatever. And at Pro Street, I think if they had like another like 6 months to really kind of iron out some of the bugs, Pro Street could have really been a top tier game. Like, I'm in a Need for Speed Discord and almost everyone loves it. Wow, okay. I did not... Okay, so the perception of it has drastically changed since the last time I was like looking at forums and everything. Now, big question here for you. Of all of the Need for Speed games, at least, let me rephrase that. Of all the Need for Speed games that you've played, because there are definitely some that I still haven't played, which of the mainline games do you think is the weakest link? Or at the very least, what are your like the top 3 weakest Need for Speed games that you think are definitely sort of not really deserving of the title of Need for Speed game, definitely kind of not that great? I think I've gotten my 3, at least of games I have played. "2015 is the worst in the series, in my opinion." I've got such mixed feelings on 2015. 2015, the highs are really, really high, but the lows are really, really low. Like, the music, I actually really enjoy the music. The map itself is really, really good. The map itself would lend itself much better to like a black box era handling model, where like, you got your twisties, you got some high speed highways and everything. Like, it's got a lot of terrain variety, or not so much terrain variety, but road variety that would make racing really, really fun on it. The vehicle selection was quite in line with, the tuner scene at the time, as well as, the focus on car culture. But the handling and the always online nature of it kind of killed all fun. It was a game that was really, really fun to take pictures in, and like to tune a car and do like custom wraps and everything like that in a garage. And it had some really, really beautiful vistas, and it had a potential for really, really good driving roads, but it wasn't fun to drive on. That one's probably on the 3 weakest for me. I don't know if I would call it the weakest, but it's definitely one of the weakest. The other ones, I would definitely put Rivals up there as another one of the weaker links. I didn't enjoy Rivals, again because of the always online nature of it. I don't like always online games. But also because it was basically, Rivals, in my opinion, was 2010, but worse. Because at least with 2010, the different missions and everything like that, like it kind of allowed you sort of, to kind of go back and forth between different classes, different vehicles and everything, try out all the different stuff. And also, you had different amounts of like uses of weapon as well. So you had to kind of really, be on your toes as you were, going into the events. But with Rivals, basically, get the fastest car you can, fully upgrade it, get basically, what was it? The ESF and EMP, so you can take down a bunch of people, and boom, you would win. And it wasn't fun, especially if you were a later comer to that game. Later comer. But if you adopted that game later, because there wasn't any class system, you'd be a racer driving around in your Porsche, not Carrera. What's the Porsche Cayman? And you have some cop in a Hennessy Venom completely wreck you, and you have no means of fighting back. And so it just kind of becomes a grind of, okay, do one event, hope no one is nearby, and then immediately go to the garage. And it wasn't fun. At least I don't think it was fun. But I was also one that kind of got the game a bit later, once everyone kind of already, kind of figured out, what were the fastest vehicles and everything. and had already unlocked all of their fastest vehicles. So I'm trying to start the career mode, and it just wasn't an enjoyable experience, I think. Oh, this would be an interesting race. Rear-wheel drive in the wet. High-powered V8 rear-wheel drive? Yeah, sure, why not? And of course, the other weak one, I think, is definitely Undercover. That one, that one was just most wanted, but worse. That one wasn't that great. It could have been decent, you know, the working as an undercover cop, taking down street races and everything like that was a cool concept. But it didn't go anywhere. I think that one would have been better, kind of being more of an open-ended style of build reputation in different areas. Maybe you use, you know, different street racing factions to kind of take each other down, that type of thing. But it just kind of became a very, very grindy, very kind of bland, very kind of bland, forgettable story, forgettable driving. The map, at least the PS2 version, was literally just copy-pasted from Most Wanted as well. So yeah, that one wasn't that great. I'm surprised to see that people like Pro Street so much though. Not like nowadays, because for a while it was, you know, Pro Street was considered, you know, the dark horse of the franchise. Oh, heavy braking, locking up the tires a bit. Oh, that was an interesting line to take through there, but it worked. Oh, a little bit of an off-track excursion there. Gotta watch track limits. Alright, 111. Many, many ones. Let's see if we can't go just a little bit faster. Very, very nice. Very smooth through there. Keep the pace up through the S's. Alright, into the hairpins now. Very, very good. The Jaguar is handling a lot better after we did some of the suspension adjustments. It's handling beautifully. It is always really, really tricky kind of doing the reverse Tsukuba. Just doing tracks reverse in general, kind of, you need to really kind of adjust your mind for it. Because a lot of tracks, you can't actually drive them backwards. Like, they're not actually like sanctioned by the FAA to race in the reverse format. Mostly due to the fact that runoffs can't really be designed both ways, not easily anyway, designed both ways without taking up a lot more space. Like if in order to be sanctioned to run reverse, that runoff at that tight left-hand hairpin there, that would need to be much further out because you're approaching at such a high speed. You need a much bigger runoff on the exit of that left-hand corner there. But you wouldn't necessarily be able to do that because on the other side, well, there's track, there's racing track. So that is not something you'd be able to really do. You get a decent amount of runoff here, but that's because you're approaching it from roughly the same amount of speed both sides. And then of course this one, the left-hand sweeper, what would be turn 1 on a reverse version. Needless to say, the runoff gradually gets less and less as you're reaching towards the outside, which is where you're more likely to, you know, run off a bit at the exit of the corner, which is very, very dangerous. So yeah, definitely that turn and this turn are not suited for running the reversed track layout. That would definitely be very, very dangerous to do. Alright, we got about 1 lap left. We're really able to kind of hold off the NSX. Thankfully, the NSX doesn't really have a whole lot of driving aids on it. So we can kind of be a little bit more aggressive than the NSX without needing to worry too much about wheel spin. Whereas the driver of the NSX really needs to kind of focus on throttle control a lot better. Because they do not have traction control. We do. Which makes a world of difference in the wet. At the very least, coming out of very, very high throttle corners and everything like that. Very, very low speed, hard acceleration corners. Makes it much, much better. Doesn't help with braking though. Traction control doesn't necessarily help with braking. That's analog braking system, ABS, that helps with braking. But I think every vehicle in this game has ABS. So I've never actually managed to lock up the wheels in this game. Not fully anyway. Like, you can kind of lock it up a bit if you're trying to brake and turn at the same time. But you can get some decent stoppage regardless. Whereas if you actually lock up the wheels, because you're sliding as opposed to rolling, you actually lose traction. And it actually reduces your ability to slow down if you lock the brakes. And then even worse than that, you flat spot the tires too, which is dreadful because that means you can then damage the suspension system and your ride is much rougher. And because you flat spotted the tires, it makes it even easier. To lock up the brakes the next time you go to hit the brakes, because now it's got some additional rolling resistance at the part of the flat spot. So it'll just keep getting worse and worse each time you go for heavy braking. And much harder to mitigate. Ooh, there's our Mercedes, a C32. Very, very nice. Ranking's doing decently enough. It's hard to find high points paying races though. The B class cars are always really, really, really tricky. Under fully race, 1 make race, so I've done that. English car limited race, let's see. I got a shot actually, let's try it. Granted, it's a track I'm absolute dog water at, but we can give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Alright, here we go. Good early lead into turn 1. They're all jockeying for position, so hopefully they'll slow themselves down quite a bit as we can really kind of pull a lead through the high commitment little S's through the high density urban section here. Ooh, almost had collision with the wall. We're gonna need to really kind of cut it close to the corners. Easy to the left. That's too close to the corners. That's bad. Bad, Isaac. Nice and easy. Back again to the left. There we go. Very fast here. Very good. Managing to keep our lead. Got another Jaguar behind us as well. Jaguar dominance. 1-2 Jaguar. Alright, so this is definitely a second gear corner. First gear is way too low for this. Second gear it is. Ooh, the Jaguar behind us. Two heavy four-door, big high power cats. Ooh, we got the S-Type behind us. And we got the XJR right here with us. Both very nice, very luxurious, beautiful vehicles. Both of them with that custom Jaguar independent rear suspension as well. A really smooth ride. Very good, very nice. There we go, that's how we take those corners. Just barely clip the inside, aim for those yellow and black sort of dashes. That's a corner that tests your patience, and I'm a very impatient person. There we go, very nice. Smooth through here, maximize the speed onto the bridge. Alright, lap 2 is about to be completed. These are very long laps. A little bit cross up on a braking there, but we managed to save it, which is good. Very nice. We want to carry some speed onto the home straight. Full speed ahead. Let's do this. Oh, no. Are you kidding me? I didn't even touch the wall there. Fine. Okay. That's annoying that it counted as a wall collision. Very annoying that it counted as a wall collision there. Okay, that one was an actual wall collision. That one was me trying to cut a little bit too tightly into the high commitment corners. The high commitment corners are what is allowing me to kind of pull away a bit from some of the other AI drivers. Don't start actually hitting the throttle until you can see this beginning of the next corner. Tunnel section. The tunnel section is always really tricky. It makes you think that, oh, it's opening up, and then it tightens up right at the very end. And it's very tricky, very complex cornering right there. And I do applaud them for doing that. It's really easy to trip up, you know, it's very easy to make rookie mistakes there. Oh, getting too aggressive on the throttle. Very well done there. It's a noob trap. And I'm a bit of a noob. Alright, full speed ahead. Final lap. Here we go. At least we got a fast lap there. That is very, very nice. Oh boy, late on the brakes. Too late. Yep, that was bad on our part. Okay, yeah, our form is completely falling apart. Hopefully we're at least able to get some points so we can fully level up this car. At least, you know, level up again. The more you level it up, the easier it is to level up further because you're able to get, you know, more ranking points with a faster vehicle. Because the odds system assumes every vehicle is at level 1, whereas that's not the case. Nice and easy through here. Final corner. Good victor in a Jaguar. Very, very nice. Across the line. Yeah, we're definitely able to hold our own now. I think we can try going for some of the RS events. It should be enough to level us up. Yes, it is. Good. We're level 7, got more power. Plenty of points there, but not enough to stop us from ranking down. Oh boy, we need a lot of points here. Will the RS event be able to give it? Okay, we don't have an RS event. That's fine. That's fine. Who needs an RS event? Who needs an RS event? Who needs an RS event? We will get points the old-fashioned way with regular events. That is perfectly fine as well. Alright, here we go. Alright, got the Corvette going around the outside there. I got a good duel, good drag race. V8 versus V8. Going down the back straight, hard onto the brakes, get it nice and turned in here. Still side by side, still dueling heavily going into the twisty bits. We're gonna have to go single file through here. Not a whole lot of good passing points through this section. Although I can try this. Not quite. Couldn't quite make it stick. Couldn't quite make it stick. Okay. Get it slowed down just a little bit. For the hairpin. Very nice through here, very good. Alright, a little bit of curb hopping, a little bit of course cutting. It's okay. Didn't gain too much time there. No cheatsiness, none of that's going on right now. Alright, easy onto the brakes. Use the uphill as well to help slow us down for the corner here. Through the parking lot. Right on the curb on the exit. Run wide. There we go. Alright, now the downhill section. Alright, brake around 150 meters. The car turned in. A little bit of curb hopping there. Nice. Very smooth through here. Just barely graze the curb. And carry the speed to the outside of the corner. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, that is the power of the Jaguar IRS. Very stable through that high speed chicane. Perfect. Just a little bit of curb on both sides. That was perfect. And that was not perfect. There I grazed. There I very clearly hit a wall. Nice and easy through here. Oh, very smooth, very nice. Start braking around the 75-meter mark. Get ourselves turned in. Perfect. Starting to get the chicanes down right in this game. Especially with the heavier vehicles like the Jaguar, we can kind of throw them around just a little bit more without them getting too squirrely. It definitely handles very, very well once you kind of really begin upgrading it. Oh, a little bit of corner cutting there. I took a little bit too much of a slice there. Note to self, don't do that. Oh boy. Oh, that's bad. That is bad, Isaac. Just as I say, I'm figuring out the chicanes. Nope. Nope. Then you do something super like that, right, Isaac? Good job, Isaac. 20 out of 10. The Jaguar is handling really, really well. We're keeping the Corvette at bay, and we're really able to kind of power down the straights as well. Like, the Corvette's got to be at least like 3 seconds behind us. Oh my gosh, almost 5 seconds. We're beating a Corvette by almost 5 seconds on this track. Very, very nice. Definitely pulling away quite a large margin. Go. Beautiful, beautiful. Alright, jump. Big jump. Another jump. Alright, hard braking around 150 meters. The car nice and turned in. Not quite as smooth through there, but decent enough. Alright. There's the finish line. Yeah, that was definitely a slower lap. That's... oh my gosh, by almost 4 seconds. That wasn't that great. That wasn't good. Let's see if we're able to win the TT Coupe. 3.2 Quattro. The V6 version. Nope, of course not. Darn, I was kind of hoping we could actually get that car. That car is actually, it punches well above its weight. The 3.2 liter Quattro. The 3.2 liter TT Quattro. Really, really fast car, actually. It handles beautifully. Yeah, our ranking number is decreased by a very large margin. All right, we're level 8. Really getting close to maxing out this car. High performance sedan race. Any vehicles we can win here? No. But it's Autumn Mountain, so that's fine. Nice. Drink a beverage. Hydrating myself. Alright, lots of traffic through here. A little bit of a collision with the wall. Slight collision with one of the, basically the Nissan Skyline, but it's basically an Infiniti G35 sedan. Oh my word. Heavy braking through that left-hand kink there. You do not need to slow down that much, but I couldn't quite get past you. I need to get up with the top two. One of them also in a Jaguar XJR, a very great vehicle choice. And the other one, I can't quite make out what the other one is. I think that's the Volvo, the Turbo Volvo, which is very, very fast as well. Volvo, believe it or not, during the 90s and early 2000s had quite a bit of touring and racing cars. Especially in the European Touring and British Touring Car Championships. Very, 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 very successful. They're well known for also in the British Touring Car Championship, entering their 850 wagons at a time. And while they weren't necessarily successful with the 850 wagons, they definitely kind of became sort of, because they were the flying bricks, a lot of people really, really kind of fell in love with the look and shape of the wagons, racing against smaller saloon cars and everything. So people kind of rooted for the underdog, like, quite a bit. Yeah, it is the Volvo. Volvo's always kind of been a bit of that dark horse brand, where everyone knows it exists, but no one really knows to what extent it exists. Especially with performance vehicles. Like Volvo's made some really, really fast performance cars in the past. Really, really nice stuff. Everything from the P1800 to the, you know, the S70R wagon, all very, very fast vehicles. To the Polestar tuned Volvos of the early 2010s. Now Polestar is its own brand, making high performance luxury electric vehicles. Kind of cool how things kind of shape and shift like that. Initially started just as a tuning division of Volvo, and now it's its own sub brand, just like Genesis used to be just sort of Hyundai's sort of premium coupe and wagon, premium coupe and sedan. And that now Genesis is its own brand as well. It's basically Genesis is basically the Hyundai's version of Acura or Lexus or what have you. We got 2 more laps left. Racing through the fall Beautiful autumn mountains. Very, very nice. Right, nice and easy through here. Easy through here. Watch yourselves. There we go. Oh, I love the bright reds as well. Very, very pretty. Beautiful coloring. Alright, on to the home straight. One more lap to go. Very, very fast. Fairly, okay, not quite consistent laps. Yeah, definitely not consistent laps, but still very, very fast laps. We just need to make sure everything is all nice and smooth through here. We're definitely winning this race by quite a large margin as well. Once you get the Jaguar leveled up, the weight isn't as much of an issue as you would think, because once you get the tire and the tire upgrades and the power upgrades, it handles beautifully. Like this can definitely keep pace with some fairly high-end sports cars as well. We were able to beat an NSX earlier at Tsukuba with this. Granted, it was Tsukuba in the wet. Yeah, it was very, very nice. Very, very nice. Alright, come on. Nice and easy through here. Alright, final corners. Don't bend it now. Nice, and across the line. Yeah, we managed to do decently. Alright, let's see. Nice tires up to level 3. Really able to kind of get all the grips now. All the grip. Alright. Maybe one more race before we get to level 10. Super second one make race, high speed battle. Let's see if we can't win any other vehicles. Road City Challenge, Automotive Challenge, Road Drive, Super Circuit Sunday Mat. Road Challenge, Road Drive Limit Race, Super Circuit Challenge, Listen, Speed Battle, Pacific. I definitely want to win some more vehicles. Already won that. Have we unlocked all the high performance sedans? Looks like we have. Yeah, we can give the one make race a shot. All of us, everyone in the Jaguar XJR. Massive amount of V8s. What of? Let's roll. Good acceleration. Oh, it is going to be a mess going into the turn 1 though. Let's ease up on the brakes. just kind of fall in the line. There we go. I got a car to the left. They're still there. Alright, we lost the position. Let's make sure we get that back. Trying to go for a clean, much cleaner race. Trying to clean up my driving just a bit more. Trying to have less off-course excursions, especially less vehicle contact. As I do both of them right then and there. Very nice job, Isaac. That's what happens when you run just a little bit wide. Alright, trail brake going into the right-hand sweeper. There we go. Oh, I can't get a good exit though. Nice and easy, nice and easy, nice and easy. Go down to first gear. A little bit of contact there. We need to push some more. Oh, you did some very aggressive maneuvering there. Let me see if I can't carry some more speed around the outside of this corner. I actually enjoy battling with the AI quite a bit. Like when it's really, really close fighting. Downside is sometimes like this, the AI isn't always 100% cognizant of you. So they do kind of bump a little bit. They do bump just a tad. That's all right. There we go. All right, easy. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, there we go. Got it slowed down enough. Get the car nice and turned in. A little tippy tap of the brakes. Now to the right. There we go. Carry more speed around the outside. Heavy braking now into the hairpin. Alright, and now we got 3 laps to chase down the leader. Also in a Jaguar XJR. X-Ray Juliet Romeo. Alright, take a little bit of curb on the exit as well. New fastest lap, very good. Start braking at the start of the uphill. The only sort of elevation change Tsukuba has. Alright, how far ahead are you? You're about 2.7 seconds ahead. So we need to gain about a second a lap. And even then we need to be able to pass. Passing is going to be really difficult. There isn't really any advantage you can use outside of... Not really any advantage you can use outside of just braking later or forcing an error. Alright, come on. Oh dear, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted. Okay. I mean, just a little bit of a bin. We're still gaining time on the leader, but it's not enough. We need to go faster. Very wide there. We're being a little bit too aggressive though. We need to go fast, but aggressive. 2 seconds behind, dead on. We lost some time there, kind of figured. We did get fastest lap through there though. Last lap. But it's weird how the time difference right now. Like, it's myself, the leader, and it's a big gap at the third, despite everyone in the same vehicle. It's a very, very big gap at the third. Oh boy. Come on, we need to get under a second. We need to get under a second. Completely missed the apex there. I run wide too, why not? It worked. That's fine. A little bit more of an aggressive driving style kind of helps out at points. Nice and easy. Cut back. Do the cut back. There we go. I still managed to carry a little bit more speed out of the corner. Ooh, we're running out of road. We're running out of road. We got half a lap. Basically 2 corners. 1 real passing point and 1 potential passing point. Here's the real one. Can we keep it? Not quite. Alright. Get into the slipstream. Into the suck zone. Back to the inside. Easy on the brakes. Oh, this is a dangerous spot to overtake. Oh, but we made it stick. We made it stick. Oh my word. Oh, very, very nice. Very, very nice. Right now, level 10. Very good. Very, very nice. 600 points. Our ranking has increased just a little bit, which is good. Very, very good. All right, let's see. Should we change it now? Let's see if there's any RS races first. There is Nürburgring and Dirt, but it's reversed. I don't like the reverse Nürburgring. Reverse Nürburgring is very not fun. All right, let's do change car. There it is. Search. Multi-purpose. All right, so we got 4 options here. We got the Chevrolet Astro, beautiful, beautiful van. We've got the Volkswagen Touareg, Honda Odyssey, and the Subaru Forester. Let's open up the random number generator. Min 1, max 4. Let's turn on display capture. If it's 1, we're going to be doing the Chevrolet Astro. If it's 4, we'll do the Subaru Forester, and anything in between is anything in between. 2. Alright, Volkswagen Touareg. Very nice. Very, very nice. Let's see what colors we have for it. A lot of very kind of boring colors, but that's okay. We've got Shadow Blue Metallic, Black Magic Pearl Effect, Reed Green Metallic. I actually like the blue. The blue is very, very nice. Yeah, our ranking is going to have some issues here and there, but that is okay. That is going to be perfectly fine. Alright, let's adjust some settings. We need to... Can't go wrong with the Volkswagen. Sprockets, good to see you. Hope you're doing well today. Unless you can. As long as the check engine light isn't on, you're good. Thing is, with it being an SUV, you do need to stiffen things up quite a bit to kind of get a little bit more maneuverability. Let's dial back the differentials for some maneuverability. There we go as well. Good cornering. Now let's hope the Volkswagen, the VW, is able to kind of carry us to victory. 8.1. Okay, that might be a little bit tricky. Ooh. Advanced match. Super Pacific Challenge. Lot of bumps, a lot of hills, a lot of cars we can win as well, including a Land Rover. Very, very nice. Alright, here we go. Let's see. Yeah, hopefully. I think this, if I remember correctly, this is the V8 version of the Touareg. I know the Touareg was interesting. It was built on the Audi Q7 chassis as well, and the Porsche Cayenne also used a similar chassis to this for the first generation. Second generation Touareg basically shared chassis with pretty much all of the Volkswagen Auto Group SUVs, including the Lamborghini Urus, amongst so many others as well. It pulls really hard uphill though. It's really good. Got a decent amount of grip. Probably also from the suspension settings as well. Stiffen things up just a little bit to kind of help with maneuverability and cornering. My mind is blanking. Steering sensitivity. There we go. Cornering sensitivity. Get a little bit more, a little bit faster, a little bit quicker cornering. But yeah, the first generation Touareg, I believe it had three big different engine choices. I think there's a couple other smaller differences as well. But you could get it basically in either with the VR6, which is Volkswagen's 15-degree kind of inline six, kind of V6 engine layout. Very, very strange, but really cool. Sounds beautiful, the VR6 engines. You can get it in the V8, which is one of the more popular versions, and you can also get it in a V12 as well. Granted, it's weird, the V12s are not really often showcased in racing games. Most often, it's the V8 versions that are shown off. I think, judging from its sound, it sounds like a V8 as well, with it being very low kind of rumble. But it's doing really well on the bumpier, fictional San Franciscan streets. Very nice. Alright, let's start braking right around here. It's got decent brakes though. It's able to slow itself down quite a bit. Not able to turn though. Okay. We need to slow down just a bit more then. Is that it does not quite like turning. And we see when the inside, or at the center of the screen, with the VGS, we're not quite running out of grip. It's more so we're kind of the suspension is still just a little bit too soft. We definitely need to stiffen things up just a bit more, I think. So right now it's still a little bit sluggish on the corners. It's got plenty of grip to go around because it's got the really thick, very soft tires on it. But the suspension is just more so set up for, like, you know, hauling the kids to school and occasional bumpy roads. Oh boy, we got a car. I think that's a Subaru Forester on the inside. Yep. Nope, that's the RX-8. my mind got so preoccupied about the Subaru Forester that's also available in this race. I forgot about the RX-8. The RX-8 is surprisingly not doing too well. It's probably having just a bit of it. Okay, it is a V8. You can see the badging. It is a Touareg V8. Okay, but the RX-8 is not doing all that great, despite it being a very lightweight, very agile sports car. Let's try to make the rest of the race much cleaner than before. Easy, easy. There we go. I think the torque actually hasn't been featured in too many racing games, to my knowledge. Like, I know it was in Test Drive Unlimited too, and for the that was in the off-road, the B4 class, which is like the lower tier off-road racing class. And in that class, it was actually one of the faster vehicles. It was faster than the Hummer H2 and the Range Rover by a considerable margin. And that was the vehicle I kind of used quite a bit. But the Audi Q7, I think it was, Q8, whatever, the Audi high performance Audi version of with the same chassis was in the B3 class, which is the faster off-road cars. And the Audi was definitely at the lower end of the tier for the B3 class. Both the Spiker SUV and the Mercedes GL wagon were much faster than it. The GL wagon was much faster off-road, and the Spiker was very, very quick on the smoother surfaces, which definitely, you know, made things, you know, a little bit interesting. Because I went with the Audi as well, because the Audi was in the used car dealership and I was strapped for cash. First time playing through Test Drive Unlimited 2, and I'm like, oh, the Volkswagen did us really, really well. You know, this is sort of a similar vehicle. That made those championships, the B3 championships, very, very tricky, very, very difficult. Come on, still getting a little bit understeer. All right, a little bit of jump, some more air time. All right, onto the brakes. Let's do better here. Down to third gear. Yeah, okay. So accelerating out of the corners definitely causes understeer. Causes kind of snap understeer. I need to open up the front differential a bit more. Because that definitely, getting on the throttle definitely causes the car to just jump to the outside. Very, very nice. Alright, let's see. Oh, there wasn't a Forester. I apologize. I thought there was a Forester, but I'm dumb. Let's see if we're able to unlock anything. Alright, the Accord. Nice. Very, very nice. Basically, it's the Acura TLX, I think it is. Acura TLX in the States. Yeah, it's basically the Acura TLX in the States. But it's still a very, very nice car. Alright, our tuning level is also increased. There we go. It's a little bit lighter. Some points as well, some good points. Ranking number has increased by a little bit. That's always good. We got some cars. We got some more cars. We got some more points. Got another tuning level. Gotta adjust the settings though. The car is still just a little bit too soft. All right, that's good. Let's open that up again some more. There we go. This should help us. Should help us quite a bit. Alright, the Limestone Cup. Let's see what we're going to be up against. The Civic Type R. That's going to be it's going to be an interesting one. Got the Super Circuit Challenge. We'll get absolutely destroyed there. Let's look at the Nürburgring Challenge. Okay, we have a chance to win a TT. I want to win the TT. Give me some TTs, please. because the 3.2 is it's a really fast car in this game. And despite it being classified as a C-class car, it can easily go toe-to-toe with vehicles that are much higher performance. Especially once you get that one, the suspension is really easy to tune up properly. You just got to tune the car for quite a bit more oversteer. So all these normally have quite a bit of understeer. So if you tune them for a lot more oversteer, they kind of oversteer into the corners, but then you use the throttle to kind of pull yourself out, and you basically kind of half slide through a lot of the corners. And it's very quick. It's very good for getting like lots of ranking points and everything. And it only really loses to like the absolute supercars in the game, where it's like the Vipers or your Bugatti EB110s or your Ford GTs and stuff like that. And even then, on certain tracks, can still put up a decent amount of a fight, only really losing out on the straightaways. To be fair, four-wheel drive cars in general definitely pack more of a punch and can punch above the weight class in this game a lot better than a lot of other drivetrain types. I think it's just due to the inherent sort of stability of them, so you can really kind of push through the corners without needing to worry about going sideways or anything like that. And you can be just a bit more aggressive with them. Oh my gosh, a Volkswagen on the Nordschleife. It doesn't have brakes. It doesn't have brakes. I gotta be careful rejoining the track. Let's rejoin right behind the ASL, which I always forget how to actually pronounce the name of that, but it's basically the Autoback Sports Car Laboratories sports car, their one and only sports car. They actually even made a racing version for a competition in Japanese GT 300 class racing. Moderately successful. In the beautiful Autoback's orange as well. Very bright, sort of high-vis orange coloring. Little inline 4 powered. It's basically a Japanese Lotus Elise in the best way you can describe it. Lightweight, 2-door, sports car, inline 4 powered engine, but still very quick despite its lack of power. Very low production numbers though. I'd love to drive one of those in real life just to see, what they're like. But we won't be able to import them to the States for quite a few more years still. Because it's 25, I believe it's 25 years, if my memory serves me correctly, to be able to legally import vehicles that weren't initially designated for import to the United States without them being crushed by the feds. So right now you can import vehicles from 1998. So I think you can just now begin starting to. When was the first of the R34s? Our first of the R34s was either 98 or 99. But it's getting really close to being able to fully legally import the R34 Skylines to pretty much all the or most of the U.S. states. Without customs and everything busting down your door. That's one thing I kind of like to do during my lunch break at work. Is I like to kind of peruse. There's a couple of online stores or online auction sites where they sell the JDM and the European domestic market cars to United States citizens, stuff like that. It's basically the bring a trailer meets the gray market. And it's really cool seeing all the vehicles out there and everything, seeing the different regional spec modifications and everything, because some of them all of them are second-hand or third-hand vehicles and everything, so some of them have been tuned and modified, and seeing what people have done with those cars as well. It's just really cool. It's like a piece of history that's kind of being brought to the States. It's like seeing like a Japanese seeing like a 64 Impala lowrider on like Japanese streets as well. It's very interesting because you don't necessarily expect that. But lowrider culture in Japan is actually kind of becoming a little bit at places very big as well. At the very least, it's starting to catch on. It's starting to become sort of a bit of a subculture, which is really cool. Granted, the downside in Japan that kind of prevents them from importing a lot of the United States cars is the road tax laws. So in some places, like in Europe, you're taxed based on your car's fuel economy, which is why the Citroen 2CV, if I remember correctly, the 2CV actually stood for a 2-cent vehicle because that was the road tax classification it fell under, because it was a very small, very lightweight, very fuel sippy car. But in other countries, like Japan, and I believe New Zealand as well, they actually tax you based on engine displacement. Which is why in those countries, rotary engines are a lot more popular as well, because technically, the rotary engine is only a 1.3 liter, despite it making about as much horsepower as closer to a 3-liter engine. So you're in a lower tax bracket, but still making big horsepower, which is why those cars are a lot more popular there, despite some of their idiosyncrasies. Whereas they weren't quite as popular in Europe, because Europe they tax based on fuel economy, and so with that, the rotaries aren't always known for being fuel sippers. They do sip quite a bit of fuel for their smaller displacement, because basically for every rotation you have 3 combustion cycles. Per rotor, which means you're burning a lot more fuel very quickly, and they rev out really high, which means you're burning fuel even quicker. So that does make things a little bit challenging. It does make ownership of them a bit challenging over in European countries. At least it makes it more expensive. Whereas in the US, we kind of go for more so for cars with a lot more torque, which unfortunately the rotary engines don't make a whole lot of torque. They're very they make most of the power, not necessarily from torque, but from just revving out to like 9,000 RPMs. Because horsepower is basically calculated from current torque at that RPM times current RPM divided by 5280, I believe it is. Around the mid 5,000 RPM range is where horsepower and torque always equal each other, because that's just how the calculation works. And because the rotary engines rev to such a high RPM, even if they don't make a whole lot of torque, they really kind of make a decent amount of power, because what little torque they do make is sort of magnified by the sheer amount of RPMs they're able to run. So they only make about 100, 120, 130 foot-pounds of torque at their peak power, because they're revving at 7,000, 8,000 RPMs. That's close to 240, 250, 260 horsepower, which is a respectable amount despite the lack of torque. We did get past on this straight here. We need to make sure we kind of catch that ASL back up. This big old SUV isn't exactly the most aerodynamic. It is a little bit sluggish on the straights. I say that as I'm reaching the 140s. It's not bad actually, but it could definitely go faster. All right, let's slow the vehicle down now. Or not. Brakes on this car do not work. Oh my word. Everything else is decent, but the brakes are very poor. Guess it's just due to the nature of it being very heavy vehicle. Still not a bad run. Alright, let us see. Let us see if we are able Hopefully we are able to win the Audi or the 406 Coupe. The 406 Coupe would also be very, very nice. We got the 406 Coupe. That's good. V6. About 200 horsepower, 3-liter V6. Decent. It's decent. It looks quite nice though for it being a French car. French cars have always looked kind of a little bit quirky at times, but some of them look very, very nice. Let's see what race we can enter in next. The Arc of Triumph anniversary. Yeah, we're not gonna have a really, really good time there. German car limited race. Ooh, have a chance to win an RGT. That's gonna be difficult though. That's gonna be very, very over 4,000 match. On the one hand, we do have four-wheel drive and lots of grip. On the other hand, our brakes absolutely are dreadful. Touring challenge. Let's see what else we have here. Four-wheel drive limited race, auto mountain challenge, Victoria Garden challenge, German car limited race. Let's see what this German car race is. Yeah, let's try to win the SL500. Hi there. Hope you're doing well. Just out of curiosity, I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Is the two L's? Is it Colletas? Colletas? Do the two L's make the Y or the L sounds? I do apologize. I want to make sure like when people come in and everything, like I actually pronounce the name correctly and everything. But I do hope you're having a great, very, very great day right now. Right now we're racing an SUV against much faster vehicles. This is our Volkswagen Touareg. V8, very, very heavy. A lot of power though, a lot of torque. It's got all-wheel drive, so it's got a decent amount of grip out of the corners. It is a little bit sluggish. Oh boy. So this game, I'm not sure if you've seen any of the previous streams. This is Enthusia. Enthusia is a Konami's entry basically into the simcade or sim racing market, sort of as a means to kind of compete against the Gran Turismo franchise. Unfortunately, it wasn't really a commercial success. It definitely had, it didn't sell all that well. But it's a really, really fun game. It's definitely among my favorite of the PS2 era games. Get this, it's but it's like that is yes. Hang on a second. Hang on 1 second. I want to do pronounce. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice to get the actual pronunciation. Sorry about that. Nice to have you in stream. But basically, it took a lot of inspiration. These games took a lot of inspiration from the Gran Turismo games, with especially the car list, focusing a lot on like Japanese cars and other more mundane vehicles as well. That's why you're able to race in things like this SUV here, this Volkswagen Touareg, or other sort of minivans like the Chevrolet Astro. But you also are able to race against and in supercars like the Roof RGT, Mercedes, SLR, McLaren, all that stuff as well. There's a good variety of vehicles, and it's for the PS2, the physics engine is very, very well done. The vehicles react really well to bumps in the road, and they handle really, really close, apparently really, really close to how they actually handle in real life. One other thing it does really well is it encourages really clean driving, so you can't just run opponents off the road. You have to be really, really patient and really clean as a driver. Because the cleaner you are as a driver, the quicker it'll take to upgrade your vehicle, which is also really good. Because the more you upgrade your vehicle, the faster it'll go. Obviously, there's 3 upgrade paths. There's weight to lighten it up so it can corner better. Tires, again, for cornering, braking, acceleration. And power, which is purely for acceleration and top speed. And for those, basically it's an upgrade level system from level 1, which is a stock vehicle, to a level 10, which is a fully tuned vehicle. And the performance difference between them is quite noticeable. And for some vehicles, you can even hear the performance difference as well, because some vehicles will get a different exhaust note, or their turbochargers will be much more pronounced. You'll hear the turbo blow-off valve be much more aggressive in a level 3 power vehicle as opposed to a level 0 power vehicle. Right now, our Touareg is only like level 2 or level 3, so I think it's only gotten one. Yeah, it's like it's level 4. 'Cause it's gotten 1 power upgrade, and the exhaust isn't really that much different. But once you get to like level 10 with the full power upgrades, it'll sound a little bit different, a little bit more aggressive, and it'll be just a little bit faster. One of the things this game does really, really well is it also encourages you to race against faster opponents in slower cars. You'll see that I am dueling it out with a Mercedes SL 500, sort of a high-power German sports coupe, whereas I am in a much heavier, bit slower German SUV. And basically, the harder the race is, the more ranking points you get. And the more ranking points you get, the higher your ranking is, which allows you to enter harder and harder races and win faster vehicles, as well as other prizes as well. Yeah, so for example, once we cross the line, we'll finish second. Alright, and you can see here that you have the odds system. So my odds were 3.7, which means it was a moderately difficult race, but like slightly harder than every driver in the same vehicle, but not too much. Some cars had much lower odds, which means they were much faster vehicles, and some cars had much higher odds, which means they were much slower vehicles. Once you finish within a points-paying position, which is first through fourth, if there is a car that you have not unlocked, you have the chance to win it. So for example, we have not unlocked this SL 500, so we have a chance. We did unlock it, which means we can kind of switch to it at pretty much any time if we wanted to. And we can see, detailed stats of the vehicle with it, a 5-liter V8 engine, about 300 horsepower, very, very heavy at 1840 kilograms, because it is a convertible sports car, which adds extra weight as well. And then this breaks down the tuning and driver levels. And basically how this is calculated is you have your base point up at the top. It's 40 at the minimum, and then for every assist you turn off, it goes up by an additional 10. So right now, the Touareg comes with traction control and electronic stability control. So both of those are on by default. But I did select the manual transmission, so that adds an extra 10 points. That's 50 points. Then we have the distance driven. Basically, it's your total distance driven multiplied by 10. So we drove about 5.7 miles, so 57 points there. Then it's your ranking. It's 10 for first, 6 for second, 4 for third, and 2 for fourth, I believe. So we got 6 because we finished second. If you get the fastest lap out of all the drivers, you get an extra 10 points. And then it subtracts points based on if you do other bad things, like if you go off course, if you hit a wall, or if you hit another vehicle. And then you have your total. That total goes into your vehicle points and your driver points. And once those hit a certain threshold, you level up. So we've leveled up our car. So now, that means that our tires, okay, so it's actually, we're only level 3. our tires are now going to be a bit grippier, which is very, very nice. So we'll be able to enter harder events with the same vehicle and get more points. So here is the ranking points. The ranking points, basically, they take a baseline points based on whatever tier of racing you do. So for example, rank novice, or RN, only gives you 10 points, whereas R1 gives you, I want to believe, 200 points, and RS gives, I think, 500 points. It multiplies it by the odds, and also multiplies it by the finishing position, with first being 1, second being 0.6, third being 0.4, and fourth being 0.2, to give you your total ranking points. That goes into here, and basically your best 9 out of the past 12 weeks count towards your total ranking points. So I've got 5,000 ranking points, which means which allows me to be rank 43 of the 1,000 other AI racers it's calculating pretty much throughout the game. So now that our vehicle has leveled up to level 3, we do now have grippier tires, which is nice. Ooh, we can do the 4-wheel drive championship. This may be very, very difficult. We're gonna go for it because I want to win. I want to win that race car. If we finish even 4th, we'll get plenty of points and we will have the chance to win a racing car. But the RS events are very, very tricky. The RS events against basically some of the fastest cars in the game when they're fully tuned, and it's very long races as well, so it's much less likely that you'll get lucky. But we'll try. I want to try because I want to win that race car. I know what it is already based on the silhouette of the car, but I want to at least have a shot at winning it. I just need to finish 4th. I'm not going to be able to win against the Bugatti, but maybe I can win against some of these Japanese four-wheel drive sports cars through some of these corners and through some a bit of aggressive driving. Try to avoid collision as well. So for the pack is still quite tight. We are in last place, but let's try to get at least a 4th place position here. Get some points playing positions. We gotta get past this Evo. This Evo is slowing us down on the corners. They're not driving it nearly as fast as they could. Maybe a late braking maneuver going into here. There we go. That's good. We're up into 5th. And we need to go just a little bit faster. So we need to catch 4th. And we need to pass 4th. I mean, granted, it's a 13 point something odds race, so we definitely do not have great chance at being competitive. We have a very, very poor chance at being competitive, especially when the car does not have brakes. This car does not have brakes at all. This car does not slow down well, which is very, very difficult because braking is very important for racing. The later you can brake, the more you can stay on the throttle. I think I am catching up with the Subaru just a little bit. The Impreza, that bright blue Impreza just in front. If I can at least get up with them and maybe make a move for 4th, we have a shot at actually, you know, winning, or not necessarily winning, but a shot at getting quite a large amount of points. I don't necessarily want to see the distance or the time gap to the vehicle, to the Evo in front. The Evo in first. I want to see more so the delta time to that Impreza, that Subaru, because I want to get up closer to it. I keep losing time on the straights because the Touareg isn't all that fast on the straights. It's a big SUV. It punches a big hole in the air. Which means it does have a slightly reduced top speed as well. I wanna try to go for the Subaru. Oh, that Evo is also catching up too. We're able to gain time through the bus stop chicane there. The left, right, left of the, left, right, right, left of the bus stop. But then throughout the rest of the lap, we are losing time. We are falling behind a bit. And we are getting a little bit of little collisions as well. Yeah, I think the Touareg is a bit out of the league. It's a little bit not quite the fastest, or not quite a good vehicle to use in this race. But we're still gonna try. And where can you get that game? Okay, so this game, so it's very, very old game. It came out in 2005. I am playing this on a PS2 emulator. I have the physical disc. I bought it at a flea market back in 2010, I believe, 2010, 2012, somewhere on that time period. The game itself can still be found today, but it's a PlayStation 2 exclusive. So if you want to play it on a PC, you're going to want to get an emulator, and there's two different options. You have a more legal way, and you have a much less legal way. The legal way is to purchase an actual copy of the disc, get a physical disc reader, and get the ISO file. PSC, thank you very much. I have to get an emulator. Yeah. So you can either get the ISO file off of the actual disc, or run the disc in a disc drive. Either way, it will work on the emulator. Or you can find through certain sites. This is the illegal way, the way that certain is sometimes frowned upon. There are sites that do have this game's ISO file already on it. But regardless, you're going to need a PS2 emulator to play it on PC, or you're going to need an actual PS2 and a physical disc if you want to play it, fully legitimately. But PS2s are getting a little bit harder to come by here and there. Especially, parts for the PS2s and keep them in running condition. If you're going the emulator route, I highly recommend the PC SX2. Very, very good. A lot of additional hotkeys as well. And it is very, 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 very good. It does also allow you to map different controllers to it. So for example, if you want to plug in an Xbox controller, you can map that to the emulator and then use the left and right triggers to be the gas and the brake pedals. So instead of having full gas, full brake, you can kind of modulate the gas and brakes through the corners, which is what I do. Granted, with a PS3 controller that thinks it's an Xbox controller. That was a little bit of a finagle to kind of get that set up. A little bit of a hassle, but it works, so I'm happy. But the PC SX2, it's not too difficult to set up. You could probably get that actually set up in about, depending on download speeds where you are, you can get that set up in about an hour. Basically, you just need to download the PC SX2, download a BIOS off of the internet. But you can find an actual PS2 BIOS off the internet fairly easily. Download that. Basically, start up PC SX2. Tell it to kind of connect. Tell it to run a certain BIOS. And once you get that set up, it's pretty easy. Then you just plug in a controller, get all the button bindings to kind of make the computer think that controller is actually a PS2 controller. And then just use whatever ISO files or whatever physical PS2 discs in a disk drive, and you can play those games, which is very, very nice, because my PS2, I do still have a physical PS2, but it is a very, very old console, and it is showing its age. And it took me back in 2020, 2021, where the laser reader on it went up. It took me like 3 months just to get a replacement part in, which kind of led me down the emulation route of getting things, making sure I could continue to preserve these games and everything like that. Because I love playing a lot of older games. If you haven't noticed, looking at the channel, a lot of games are. I don't think I've played a game that was made after 2015. Basically, this Sunday will be like the newest game I have ever played, which would be Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. Every other game has been 2015 or older, and but it's been a lot of fun too, though. I enjoy talking about some of these older games. Oh, we do not have a good shot. We do not have a good chance at winning these RS events. Let's see what we have here. NA limited race. Do we have a shot here? We can win a couple of vehicles as well. Let's go for it. At Tsukuba Circuit. Tsukuba Circuit in Japan. Very, very flat. A lot of hairpin turns. But it's a really, really fun course as well, because it really kind of tests your patience in a good way. And also, it's really good for kind of higher acceleration, high grip cars. Four-wheel drive vehicles usually do really, really well at Tsukuba, because you want good grip out of the corners. And you want good acceleration down the really, really short straights. I've said this before, but Formula E would actually do really, really well here at Tsukuba. It would make for some really, really great racing if they chose to race here, because oftentimes, I don't think they'd ever be able to actually like close down any Japanese roads for a Formula E race in Japan, despite the fact that Formula E, you do want manufacturers in Formula E as well, and they do have, I believe they still have Nissan as a manufacturer in Formula E, and it would be cool to get other Japanese manufacturers in as well, like Toyota or Honda, to both be really, really cool manufacturers for Formula E. But I don't think they'd be able to do a street race, so I think Tsukuba would be the next best option. So there's a lot of good overtaking spots. It would do well to showcase the acceleration of the electric cars, and also would add another sort of permanent racing circuit that kind of adds hype to the calendar. So I think the 2023 season, they're racing at Portland International Raceway in the West Coast United States, and that's gonna be a lot of fun too. Portland is very, very, very short. It's under 2 miles long. And there's a lot of heavy acceleration zones there too, which will really kind of test the vehicles. And I think, race cars are, well, why I do enjoy street circuits. I think most racing series should be on a good mixture of street circuits and permanent racing circuits as well for open wheel racing. So that really kind of tests the drivers and the machines as well, and kind of adds more variety to the racing, which is always really, really good. Like right now in the world, currently, the only two series that are really kind of doing like massive amounts of variety in where they're racing are NASCAR and IndyCar. NASCAR is racing on everything from dirt ovals to short tracks to high speed, super speedways to road courses. They're even trying to do a street circuit. They've been pushing to get like an actual street circuit into the calendar. IndyCar is racing on a bunch of different ovals. They're racing on street circuits and permanent racing circuits as well. Whereas other racing series only racing on like either just permanent racing circuits or permanent racing circuits and street courses. So it is always cool to see more variety in the racing calendar. It really kind of tests the overall abilities of the drivers, of the teams. Ooh, we're dueling for position here. I'm gonna give you just a little bit of room, but you gotta give me just a little bit of space too. There we go. Managed to hold on to the lead for just another lap or so. That Mercedes right behind us is really... Hey? That Mercedes right behind us is really kind of being a little bit aggressive, a little bit argy-bargy. Let's push to get back in front of it. Oh, the Touareg is not that great in high-speed corners, but it can be decent out of the lower speed corners. But I am understeering quite a bit in high-speed corners. Oh yeah, that Mercedes. Now that we can't really run a defensive line against it, it is pulling away. It is a much faster vehicle, having an extra roughly 50-ish horsepower, and being a little bit lighter than our very heavy Touareg. Very sleek as well. It's got a lot of high speed, aerodynamic prowess, whereas our Touareg it takes up a lot more space in the air, a lot more drag, a lot more aerodynamic drag going down the straights. And since that car in front, the Mercedes has a lower center of gravity, it's able to do a little bit better on the corners as well. So we may have to settle for second. I was hoping for a victory. This Touareg is not quite being cooperative. Granted, it's being decent through most of the corners, but it's still got just a little bit of understeer. I think I should lower the front just a tad to increase the rake and get it to oversteer a bit more. Yeah, I think that may be the best course of action to kind of get it to handle a bit better, especially on the higher speed corners. So lower speed corners, it's not bad. It's the high speed corners where it doesn't quite want to turn. It kind of runs to the outside of the course. Alright, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Alright, final corner. Okay, if we can get a second place, it's still a really solid points playing position. A little bit frustrating that we lose to a Mercedes SL500 twice in the same vehicle. But I mean, the Mercedes is also a much faster vehicle as well. Much faster than whatever we have. We managed to beat the TVR though. The TVR is a brutally quick car. The TVR does not have any driver assists though. It's basically you live and die by that car. If you can drive it, it's very fast. But if you can't drive it, it is very terrifying to drive, because it wants to be very aggressive towards you, and it wants to hurt you. That car, the Tamura. There we go. Level up the Touareg just a bit more. Good. Let's reduce the weight. Not a great amount of ranking points. Thankfully, the ranking number has stayed the same. We're not doing all that great. Let's go to the garage. Let's go to the settings. Let's lower the front just a little bit more. Get some rake in there. Now let's join a race. Four-Wheel Drive Championship 3. Let's see what we're up against. Yeah, no, we have zero chance in that. Zero, none, zip. Let's go to low end steering. Have a chance to win a Saab. Let's do it. Ah, nice drink of water. All right, let's go. We're gonna be starting in the front because we are one of the slower vehicles. Thankfully, the all-wheel drive does pull us ahead, at least gives us an early lead before the rest of the vehicles are able to get better traction and really kind of push. Thankfully, also the AI really do not go really fast in high commitment corners like the bank corner here. So it is a way to cheese easy ranking points, and they get a much better race result than you otherwise would. Especially since that's like literally the first corner, so you can really get a decent lead early on, and then focus entirely on this lap time. It's like the first half of the first lap, even with a very slow car. There we go, nice and easy. All right, under the Dunlop bridge, now for the S's. Smooth to the right. Smooth to the left. Alright. I think this is a second gear right-hand hairpin. Ooh, it may be a first gear. It's kind of in between. Alright, through the tunnel. One thing I like about this track is it looks like a kitty cat on the map. Like right now we're in the belly. We're in the belly going to the back leg. Now we're starting down the back leg to the back foot, the back feet. Much wider sweeper corner here. Very long corner, so you got to be patient. You don't want to get on the throttle too early. Now we're going up basically the cat's butt. Yeah, going onto the tail now. Long kind of curly tail. Lots of corners here, almost constant cornering. Very rarely are you going straight in this section here. You're just constantly turning the car in and making sure the car does not over or understeer. Keeping the car nice and balanced. Now on the back side of the tail, this corner is a bit tricky because it gradually opens up a bit more and more. So you think you can go faster, and then as you go up the hill, the corner tightens and goes back inwards. And so you got to let off the throttle to slow down just a little bit as you come over the hill. And now we have the backwards Radeon. If you're familiar with the Spa-Francorchamps circuit, it's basically the mirrored version of that corner of Radeon. And now we're on to the back of the cat, which is the front straight, but it's also a back straight because we're on the back of the kitty cat. There we go, first lap done. Up the 6th gear. Now we're on to the kitty cat's face. The banked corner, really fun to do as well, because you can get some really high speeds, high G-forces as well through here. Hard on the brakes as you go through all the hairpins. Down in the 2nd gear. The Touareg does not want to slow down. The brakes on the Touareg are just not that great. Okay, let me rephrase it. The brakes on the Touareg are dreadful. Yeah, we're actually doing really well here, despite this being a harder race. And there's a chance we can win the Saab. Nice and easy through here. There we go. Alright, smooth. Let's slow it down just a little bit through the tight right-hand hairpin. Gradually get back on the throttle. Ooh, a little bit squirrely in the braking there. I got just a little bit loose. A little bit of off-road excursion there. And the game kind of yells at you a little bit whenever you do something bad. Like if you go off track, the little Enthusia bar at the bottom left will go up. Will actually go down, and it'll flash yellow. If you hit a car, it'll come up and it'll flash red. And if you hit a barrier, it'll flash orange. And in different actions reduce the points. Basically, it's your hit points, your life by a certain amount, depending on what you do. Like, going off course, slightly won't do a whole much, but that one will consistently drain the longer you stay off course. Hitting a car decreases it by a moderate amount, and hitting a wall decreases it by a fairly large amount. So you definitely want to avoid hitting walls, especially. Hitting walls does the most damage to your life bar. Whereas going off course, setting a tire or two off course doesn't do a whole lot. You can kind of get away with that just a little bit. And even then, the game sometimes allows just a little bit of off-road racing on an on-road track. We actually had a really, really good run there. Very, very quick. Managing to beat some of the other Mercedes, beating the Celica. We beat the Saab as well. Only a few off-course excursions here and there. Now let's see if we're able to win the Saab 9.5. No, we were not. Okay. Yeah, sometimes the game is a bit mean to you, and it decides it doesn't want to let you get a car. It's all up to RNG. But there we go. We got grippier tires. Gradually getting this vehicle up to level 10. Lots of points there. Very, very good. Very nice. Alright. Four-wheel drive championship number 4. That's not that bad, actually. We might have a chance here. Let's do it. Let's do it. We can potentially win a race car if we finish within the points. So let's do it. Let's win the race car. Plus, also, the Nordschleife is one of my better tracks. Just from the sheer number of times I've had to drive it in the Gran Turismo games. Specifically Gran Turismo 4. Mission 34 flashbacks. Alright, we got the Volvo diving up the inside. Ow. Hey. We got pushed off course there. That's very rude of that Audi. We first got dive bombed by a Volvo, and then we got pushed off course by an Audi. Very, very rude European cars. Yeah, but because the Nordschleife also has lots of high commitment corners, it is easy to do a lot better than the AI, especially earlier on. Because a lot of these corners are very, very high commitment. You can really kind of cheese a little bit of extra speed that the AI doesn't do by kind of using a bit of the curbs and cutting just ever so slightly over the curbs without going off course. You can really kind of pull, get a decent run on them. Alright, gotta watch yourselves up in the Flugplatz. It's a German name. Gotta watch yourself. Car gets really light over the bump. And if you're going fast enough, your car will actually go into the air. Which is bad because you want to be able to slow down enough for that turn. Alright, let's stay into the slipstream of the Volvo. The Volvo Turbo Sedan. Nice and easy through very, very long left-hand sweep, but we got an R32 Nissan GTR right behind us. Oh boy, and we are only in a Sakamam SUV. Granted, a V8 powered Sakamam SUV, but it's still an SUV. And we're dueling against some very, very quick machines. We got that R32 Skyline GTR behind us. We got the Volvo, turbocharged Volvo. Very, very fast Volvo. So the Volvo packs massive punch. Do not underestimate the Volvo. And we dived in the inside. Yes, but not cleanly. Not cleanly. Alright. That's not bad, actually. Okay. Easy, easy, easy. Let's go. Alright, hopefully the Volvo and the Skyline will fight a bit for positions. Maybe if they can slow each other down for a bit, we can kind of pull ahead. First place, that Audi is long gone. That Audi is very, very quick. Very, very powerful RS6 Audi. So we will have to really kind of hold on to second place. Oh, that long 1.3 miles straight at the very end, though. That is going to be very tricky. This is a very, very long track. It's about 12.47 miles on just the Nordschleife variant. And it's very, very twisty. A lot of bumps, a lot of tricky corners. Oh, that is an example of a very tricky corner there. You got to slow down while turning right and get the car set up for that harder left-hand turn. And that is a corner it's very, very easy to mess up on. Same with this one. This corner is understeer central because the corner itself actually kind of is badly banked in that instead of banking inwards towards the center of the turn, it banks outwards towards the outer wall. So you have to go even slower than you initially think because otherwise you continue to slide outwards and you'll hit the wall like I did. Granted, I was going way too fast through there. It's a bit of plays a bit of tricks with your eyes. Now we got a very, very long straight section here. Mostly straight. I mean, it's, you know, you full throttle the entire way through. And it looks like that is that the Volvo or is that the GTR? That is the GTR behind us. And it is slowly catching up, but not too much. I think everyone, since the rest of the pack is so bunched up behind us, everyone is still fighting for position, so they're all kind of slowing each other down, which is good because that means we don't have to defend too much. We're running just a little bit wide there. Just a little bit wide. It's okay. A little tippy tap of the brakes. Alright, heavier onto the brakes. There we go. Alright, easy. Through the carousel. Gotta stay on that concrete strip here because it is heavily banked in our favor. So we can go through that much faster than if we go around the outside or tighter through the inside. It's basically a single line corner because you can't really pass into or out of the carousel. But it is so much fun to get right. It's a very, very tight hairpin turn, but you can go through it much faster than you normally think you can because the corner is helping you go through the corner. Alright, now that we kind of get past the carousel section, now we're going to be going through a lot of shallower left, right, lefts, a lot of hills, a lot of bumps, a lot of ups and downs. One corner almost immediately after another corner. So you really need to kind of focus through here. And because one corner leads into the next, it does make it really challenging because if you mess up one corner, your line for the next corner can be a bit compromised. So it can lead into basically one bad corner into the next, which is very, very challenging. This section of the course always messes me up a little bit, especially in much faster vehicles. Alright, over the bump. Running wide, running really wide. Get back on track. There we go. Alright, and as we begin to come out of that section, we've got a small corner complex coming up. Right, left, left, right. That final right is a very key corner because you want to maximize the speed coming out of it. Because then we have basically a 1.3 mile straightaway, which is where cars that are not that fast will be absolutely murdered by faster vehicles. And that R32 GTR is still right behind us. That is a very quick and a straight line car. So we may have to settle for third. I am hoping that we are able to get a good run out of this corner. Let's head wide a bit before we cut back to the inside. Good. Good exit. Alright, let's go, let's go, let's go. Alright, there's the skyline on our left. They're passing us before the hill. That's going to be tricky. If they pass us at or just after the hill, that's fine, because usually we can outbrake them going into the final, like, hard right-hander corners. But if they pass us before the hill, usually that means they're able to pull enough of a gap that we can't really brake later. We can't really brake later than them and make a deep final corner pass. We can build up a lot of, we can recover a lot of distance, but it wasn't quite enough. If they passed us maybe 2 seconds later, we would have been able to, I think we would have been able to pass them. But even then, it would have been a little bit tricky. Still, we managed to do very, very well. We should be able to win a nice racing vehicle now. And there it is. Now, thankfully with this, we are guaranteed to get it. Any of the races that sort of offer like a specialized prize car. And there it is, the Zanavi Nismo GTR. Very, very nice. The JGTC Japanese Grand Tourer car. Very, very fast. 3-liter inline-6 engine. Turbocharged. Very, very quick. But lots of downforce, very lightweight, good cornering. Very good. Very, very nice. Alright, let's enter another race. Let's see what we have available to us. The Road Regatta Championship. Ooh. Yeah, but we're going to be up against a Nestle McLaren. That's not great. That is not great. Ooh. Ooh. You might be able to do this one, actually. The over 4-liter race. Yes. We have a chance to win a Firebird, a Pontiac Firebird. Very, very nice. No. Oh, the kitty. Alright, we have a kitty on stream now. Hi there. You wanna come up? No, you just want to sit next to the chair? Okay. That's fine. You can sit next to the chair. I gotta make sure I don't roll back onto her. My cat is now sitting basically behind the chair. Many other places she could sit, but she wants to sit behind the chair. Okay, now she's gotten up and she's going elsewhere. She's just kind of wandering the house right now, just chilling. Oh, thankfully the Touareg with its softer suspension, it is pretty good on the bumpier streets of London. It's able to handle the bumps, so it doesn't get quite as discombobulated through some of these sections. It's still got a little bit of understeer though through some of the longer corners. That's fine. Alright, through the tunnel. Alright, back again to the left. Slowly increase the throttle as we come outside. Maximize speed on the uphill. I'm gonna start braking immediately after the jump. The car had turned in. There we go. The car does not like these tighter corners here. I think that is an Aston Martin behind us. That is an Aston Martin behind us. We got red James Bond behind us. V12 versus a V8. beautiful British sports car versus very, very heavy German SUV. It is also on British roads, so the Aston Martin does have the home field advantage. I gotta watch ourselves going into the tight right-hander here. It is a late apex corner. Want to kind of just barely graze the cornering, just barely graze the curbing right at the multicolored strips. Oh, they got a better run on the inside. I'm gonna try to avoid collision with them. They still collided with me. I gave them plenty of space. There we go, good defensive line through the corner. Oh boy, here comes the Aston Martin again. They got massive amounts of power on the straights. But so far we're able to outmaneuver them through some of the corner complexes. This long left-hander may be the death of me though. At least the death of first place. Yep. Because now they're running a defensive line. Nope. Couldn't quite sneak on the inside of them. They're very slow through this section. Understeer. Understeer is pain to that through the archway. Let's at least try to fight back. If anything else, we should be able to get a very solid second place finish, but I want to try to get a first place. Get another victory. Another victory in the Touareg. It's always fun to win in vehicles that are not designed to be racing vehicles. Like, this was not designed to be driven at high speeds on tarmac. Not at all. But here we are. We're still trying to keep up with an Aston Martin, you know, a purebred British sports car, V12, endorsed by James Bond. Very beautiful car as well. Fun fact, I know we talked a little bit about the Jaguar independent rear suspension earlier. A couple of Aston Martins actually also used the Jaguar independent rear suspension setup, including the DB7. This was done as a means because Ford at the time of the DB7's creation owned both Jaguar and Aston Martin. Granted, Ford no longer owns either of them, but at the time Ford owned both. And so in order to reduce cost of development on the DB7, a lot of parts of the Jaguar XJR, I believe it was, were shared with the DB7, and a lot of chassis components as well, which is why the DB7 looks quite a lot like the Jaguar XJR as well. Very similar looking vehicles, especially if you look at like the body, the overall body shape. But I mean, the DB7 did get praise for vehicle handling as well. Still Brunch, hey, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I apologize for not being able to catch a stream earlier today. I was in the SIL, the Systems Integration Lab, and they don't really allow outside electronics in there because it is very sensitive, shall we say, for a multitude of reasons. Everything from electrostatic discharge to, you know, data storage as well. Very you know, very protected. Needs to be protected. But I do hope you're doing well today. Right now we are trying to race against an Aston Martin and a Volkswagen Touareg. Needless to say, we are failing. Me and my friend are fanboying over Photoshop. Oh, really? Dude, what did what's going on with Photoshop? I'm not actually I don't have Photoshop. I use GIMP for a lot of my stuff because Photoshop is a bit pricey. But what is so what is the discussion with Photoshop? Oh, okay, that was a bad corner. That was a very, very bad corner. A little bit of contact with the wall there. All right, second place. That's not terrible. That's not great, but it's not terrible. It's okay. I mean, we beat things like the Tommaso Pantera and the Jaguar S-Type. Couldn't quite beat the Aston Martin, but we beat some of the other vehicles. Let's see if we're able to win the Firebird. I want to win the Firebird. I love my muscle cars. Bruh. That's it's the game's being mean with me right now today. It's not been very, very nice with allowing me to unlock new vehicles. It's been very, very not fun in that regards. But oh well. Let's see the next race. Let's see if we can't level this Touareg up to level 10. Tuning level 10. Ooh, we can do the Pacific Challenge. This actually might be decent. We can win an Audi Roadster and R32 Golf. Very, very nice. Let's see. And thankfully, this is Pacific. This is based on the San Franciscan circuit, which is really, really good for a lot of like cars with softer suspension and good acceleration. Which thankfully the Touareg has both, which is nice. So let's continue. Let us try to race as cleanly as possible. Trail brake as much as we can through this corner. Back on the throttle. Use a little bit of curbing on exit. There we go. We should be able to do well here. I hope we do well. The odds aren't too stacked against us, and I do want to win. I want to win one of those vehicles, either the Golf or the Audi TT. Be very nice. Be very nice to have either of those in our vehicle library. My model, for some reason, is deciding to look up at the ceiling. I don't know why. VC face sometimes bugs out a little bit. That's fine. It's a very, very pretty ceiling. I have to get that readjusted. Occasionally, if the camera loses track of me, I get a slightly different positioning compared to how it was normally. Nice and easy. Nice and easy through here. We want to make sure we have a very, very clean race so that we can fully level up our Touareg. The cleaner our race is, the better, the quicker it will level up the vehicles. I'm trying to get every vehicle to level 10 so I can gush about every vehicle as well. Oh. A little bit too aggressive. We're trying to get as wide as possible. That was bad. That was very, very bad there. That was poor driving for myself. Alright, back on the uphill section, lap 2. we're actually pulling quite a ways away from second place, which is really good. The Touareg, we're working as a team of sorts, as I'm the photographer and he's the editor. Oh, nice. Sweet. So you guys are, you know, doing all the color corrections and, you know, doing all the adjustments and everything to kind of really make all the pictures pop. Very nice. Yeah, I do have some knowledge in, like, I have a little bit of knowledge in how, like, Photoshop and other, like, image manipulation platforms work and everything. My dad, he does a lot of the, so he for right now, he does, he manages basically, like, a TV station and everything. But, you know, he, throughout his entire life, he's always been involved in, like, a lot of, like, digital media and everything. And he taught me a lot, but he knows so much more than I know with just regards to, you know, production and everything. But you know, he definitely kind of showed me a little bit of the ropes. So, you know, here's how you kind of make pictures, you know, look semi decent. But even then, my photoshopping, my graphics manipulation skills are very lackluster compared to his. He is able to, like, really make, especially, like, real life photos. Because he used to freelance as a wedding photographer. And so, you know, he'd do all the Photoshop and everything, clear up people's skins, you know, add like a slate blush and, you know, add, you know, more like color to them and everything. You know, get rid of, you know, all the red eye and everything back when that was, you know, a big issue with cameras. And, you know, he'd be at his computer for, you know, like an hour or two, you know, fully kind of reworking the pictures, but they would come out so different. Because what he would do is with that is he would showcase the pictures to the couple. He would show the original and then he'd showcase the edited version. And he's like, yeah, this is sort of he kind of explain the process and everything to them, and they'd always be like super impressed, you know, with all the attention to detail and everything that he did. Really cool stuff. And my dad's really cool. Whereas I just design aircraft. And it's, yeah, most of the time it's CAD software doing a lot of the work for me. All the finite element analysis, determining, you know, where the failure points are, just exactly how much force can be applied in any direction. Oh, cool. Yeah, it is. It's just, I don't know, with more artistic style jobs and everything, and maybe this is coming from more so an engineer who's been in the field a couple years. For the artistic style stuff though, you get a bit more variety in what you work with, and the end result looks a lot better, I think. Whereas from an engineering perspective, you know, you can put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it, but, you know, it could be something as simple as like an electronics box. Yeah, it's a very complicated electronics box, but it's not really, you know, you show that to the average layman and they'll be like, okay, it's a box, it's got wires in it, cool. But, like, you know, you showcase, you know, the design process of everything, you know, of, like, you know, film or, you know, picture editing, and you know, the average lay person is like, wow, that is, you know, amazing and everything. And I mean, because it's a lot more, I guess, overtly really cool. But yeah, it's very different. I'm kind of the little bit of the odd one out of the family. The rest of my family is all involved in more like artistic style pursuits and everything. You know, my little sister, she's in college for you know, all the fine arts and everything like that. You know, she's doing all kinds of different, you know, painting mediums and everything. You know, right now she's doing, like, you know, full on, like, what is it, like the charcoal stuff, the charcoal paintings, you know, with the monochrome-esque looks, and it's infinitely better than what I can do, because I just do stick figures. But yeah, the you know, they like, this is what I created. This is what I created. You know, with the family dinners and everything, the family get-togethers, and I'm like, I built some electronics. I built a camera system for something that's gonna be flying. Oh, you like the camera system that you built previously? No, it's a different camera system this time. Ah, okay. Ooh, Baja Mirage. We actually have a decent shot at this. Let's do it. Very rare do we actually have a chance at an RS event in a D-class car. Most of the times you need at least a C-class car to really be competitive in an RS event. But with this, with us in an off-road race against the Skyline as well, very, very nice. We got a really easy win here. We've got the four-wheel drive launch, we got the grip, and we have the longer travel suspension as well. Fun fact, the Touareg, there is a racing version of the Touareg that was used in rally raid races throughout the early, throughout the 2000s and early 2010s as well. Sort of basically up until the Volkswagen emission scandal and everything, because the Touaregs were all diesel powered. And then they kind of quit rally raid motorsport afterwards. But yeah, there was the race Touareg 1, 2, and 3. Basically 3 different sort of versions of the race Touareg. I think. I know there's definitely a 1 and a 2. I believe there was a 3 as well. But don't quote me on the 3. But they were moderately successful in, like, you know, Dakar Rally and all the other rally raid events. Really, really cool. So we are racing a vehicle that does have some motorsport pedigree, but this is definitely very, very different than the rally raid versions. The rally raid versions have been completely stripped down with much longer travel suspension. The body panels are all completely changed for, you know, more durable ones to kind of handle the stresses of rally raid racing. I don't know how they do that. Like, I've been watching footage of, like, this year's Dakar rally and everything, and they're going, you know, just blazing through the desert over sand dunes and everything like that. You know, it is really, really tricky stuff. Like, brakes, please. Oh my gosh, that's the other thing. You have 0 traction on sand. You have very little traction on sand, so you gotta watch yourself. Like, I locked it up bad going into that corner. And it's one of those panic responses where you're like, I'm not slowing down, let's hit the brakes harder. Nope, that makes it so much worse. I gotta kind of train myself to not do that so much on low grip surfaces. Alright, on the uphill, the final uphill stretch. There's the finish line. Very quick race. The Baja Mirage. It's one of the few point-to-point tracks. The other being the Dragon Range. Both of them are really, really cool because they're both dual tracks as well. You're up against just one other opponent. Let's see if we're able to win the Ken Mary Skyline. Yes, good. Finally, we're able to win a vehicle. Very, very nice. Really cool. The Ken Mary Skyline was called that because of the advertisement campaigns were in Japan, featuring a couple called couple of Ken and Mary. And so, I think it's Ken Mary, or is it Ken Mari? I think it might be the Ken Mari Skyline. But basically, that was the names of the couple featured in the advertisements that were for that generation of Skyline GTR. It's really, really cool as well. It's one of the more overlooked GTRs. So a lot of people, they focus on the first generation, the Hakosuka box Skyline. And then they immediately jump to the R32. But there's a lot of cool Skylines in between then that people kind of forget about. Everything from the Iron Face Skylines of the 80s to the Ken Maris of the 70s. All very, very nice vehicles. But they just kind of get forgotten about. We got a decent shot here as well. The Beast Cup. We can potentially win an Alfa Romeo Giulia. Giulia or Giulietta? I think it's a Giulietta, actually. Alright, come on. Full grip, all-wheel drive. Let's go. 3 laps around the kitty cat. We have the jets doing the flyby as well. That was always so cool as a kid. Seeing that go past, you're like, wow, this is, you know, a professional level race. You don't need to go that slow. You do not need to go that slow, Volvo. The AI goes so slow on the bank corners here. On one hand, it makes for easier races. On the other hand, though, it does mean you gotta watch out because sometimes they'll kind of brake check you when they could go full throttle through that section. I guess the AI doesn't quite take in consideration the banking of the turn. Yeah, I guess the AI doesn't quite consider the banking of the turn when they calculate how much speed they need to go through it. It does make for an early, very, very easy early race lead. We do have that Volvo behind us, though. That is a very, very fast turbocharged four-wheel drive Volvo. It is a C-class car. Very, very quick. And it definitely, that Volvo actually punches well above its weight as well. Once you get it fully upgraded, it can easily go toe-to-toe with some of the A-class cars. Just because of its short wheelbase, it's really maneuverable for a four-wheel drive car. So you're able to kind of use it to its limits and push it past its limits even on some courses. It's very, very quick. Do not underestimate the Volvo. Alright, now we're on the back foot of the kitty cat. Very, very long right-hand sweeper corner. Easy through here. Alright, brake just before the pea gravel. Easy through this section. Basically, you gotta treat this as one continuous left-hand corner. As we get onto the tail of the kitty cat. Then back to the right. Again, this corner here is very tricky. It begins to open up. You can think, you think, oh, I can go faster. And then it snatches you right back up. Coming up through right around here, it gets tight again. Very tricky. Over the crest, prepare yourself for backwards Radion. It's basically like the big corner in Spa, but mirrored. Hit the curb here, hit the curb here. Carry as much speed as we can onto the back of the cat. Back straight is a front straight. And there's the first lap completed. Still in the lead, which is really, really good. Beautiful Volkswagen Touareg. V8's carrying us to victory. I gotta ease up. Easy through the hairpins. Go down to second gear. That was a terrible line to take through there, but that is okay. Under the lump bridge, into the S's, kind of at the front of the cat, the torso of the cat. Understeer, lots of understeer. The Touareg doesn't quite like turning in on higher speed corners. I mean, it is a big SUV, and I'm kind of throwing it around like it's a sports car. So I should probably dial it back just a tad. Slowly get back on the throttle out of the hairpin. Bridge onto the belly of the kitty cat. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Going to the tail of the cat. This is where it's nothing but corners. Basically, you have 0 straights in sight. Back again to the right. Easy, easy, easy. I'm surprised we're able to keep this lead so far. Usually the RS events are actually quite difficult. I guess we got lucky with the RNG and the vehicle selection for the other racers. Because usually for the RS events, they usually put at least 1, sometimes 2 of like the fastest vehicles in the game on it, with either the EB110 or the SLR McLaren or the Ford GT or something like that. This is actually surprisingly easy. This has been a very, very easy race so far. I was hoping for a few more battles with the AI, but that may not be happening for this race. I mean, on one hand, easy ranking points and easy level points as well. On the other hand, I was hoping, you know, as we're coming to a close for the stream, since this car is getting close to the maximum level, I was hoping that maybe we could have a couple of good, really kind of close battles. So far, not too many. Nice and easy through here. Use a little bit of curbing. Car turned in. Alright, under the Dunlop Bridge for the final time. Alright, slow it down. Tight right-hand hairpin. It is still a second gear corner though, because first gear is set just a little bit too low for this. I do like being able to hear though, just a little bit in my right ear as I went back up the hairpin. The other cars coming into the hairpin, you can just hear their exhaust note as well. And it's really, really cool sound design. The game actually, for being released in 2005, I always like the sound designs of games. It's really, really cool kind of seeing what they do, how they, you know, especially more budget-oriented games, how they kind of compensate at different places, or if that's the big area where they fall. Like, no, most of the vehicles in this game actually sound really, really nice, especially once you fully upgrade them. Especially the turbocharged ones, because you get the blow-off valve sounds and everything, which sound absolutely mean at level 10 when you have the engine fully upgraded. You get some major blow-off valve sounds. Unfortunately, this is the Touareg here is naturally aspirated, but it is still, you know, decent enough. I guess it's got a decent, you know, V8 growl. Kind of. The naturally aspirated cars don't quite sound as good as the turbocharged cars. The turbocharged cars sound really, really good when upgraded. Alright, onto the home straight. Come on. 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, that one was a little bit slower. A little bit slower lap there. But still a very, 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 very good race. The cat is now a loaf. Alright, let's see if we're able to win the Giulia. Yes! Good. Very, very nice. Beautiful car. Beautiful, beautiful car. Very, very nice. Alright, that is now fully upgraded. Lots of points. There we go, our ranking has greatly increased, which is good. Alright, let us change our car now. Since now this is level 10. Let's go to the specialty cars. All the fun variations here. A lot of different types of vehicles. Got 4 options. Everything from the Mazda Cosmo Sport, the Mustang GT, to the Toyota Celica. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up the old handy dandy random number generator, 1 to 4. If it's 1, we'll race the Cosmo. If it's 4, we'll race the Celica, and anything in between is anything in between. That's a 3. And that is a Ford T-Bird. Ah, another car powered by a Jaguar derived V8. I'll take it. Very, very nice. A lot of different colors. Desert Sky Blue, the very, very baby blue coloring. Torch Red, Evening Black, Mountain Shadow Gray, and Whisperite. I like the Desert Sky Blue a little bit. It's very, very reminiscent of the old 50s T-Birds when they were in the kind of the pastel colors and everything. Very, very, you know, very nostalgic. It looks decent in... I mean, look, this is a car that looks decent in most colors, though. What does it, Sky Blue? Yeah, no change in ranking there. But now that we have our new car, I'm probably gonna be ending the stream here. It is almost midnight here, and while I don't have work tomorrow morning, I do have quite a few errands to run. I do have a few things to get edited and clipped, and a couple of other things to get sorted as well before I go to bed tonight. So I'm gonna be actually ending the stream here. That being said, thank you all so much for watching. I do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the stream, do be sure to leave a like, subscribe, let me know you're doing well in the comments below. If you didn't like the stream, I do apologize. If you didn't like the stream, do be sure to leave a dislike and let me know what I'm doing poorly so I can fix that in the future. Regardless though, I've been Isaac Umbras, and wherever you are in the world, whatever time of day it may be for you, may it be a great time. And I do hope you all have a great time. Hope to see you all tomorrow. And until then, take care. Bye!